This episode is sponsored by Adorn Comfy Closet, where comfort, style, and satisfaction unite. Every single cast member that has ever been under my leadership has elevated in some way. In some way. And if they didn't, it was on them. Is it really that deep?
Not really, but we make it that way.
Well, let's casually talk about it.
Let's do it.
What's up, everybody? It's Ressie G, not Cardi B, but I still get to the money. Oh,
And I'm Oakland Jonah. Yeah. Hi.
you can try it again.
Sure, let's do that.
What's up, everybody? It's Ressie G, not Cardi B, but I still get to the money. Oh,
And I'm Oakland Jonah. Why can I not remember my name?
What is going on today? What is your name?
Who am I? Who was I?
Okay, who are you trying to be?
Who do I hope to be? Ludacris. No.
That's Beyonce. Who is this?
I'm Kelly. I'm the second lead vocalist.
Uh-huh. I thought you was more like a Farrah.
I ain't going nowhere without my luggage. I don't know what y'all think.
What's your name?
Okay. Oakland Jonas Galloway, a.k.a. OJ the OG, but I still got the juice.
We're keeping all that.
That's fine.
Just so you know.
I love a blooper.
All of that.
I love a blooper.
So, today, we are going to have some interesting conversations about something that the girls have DM'd me about because they want me to talk about the realm that I have helped to establish,
perpetuate,
okay,
build, construct, to innovate,
which is web reality. So let's go ahead and just jump into the debate. So today's debate is going to be based around something that I have caught a lot of flack and heat for. And I think this is the first time that I'm going to have a moment to really talk about it on my own. Why did it have to be this way? On my own. And it is, should a EP be on camera and behind the camera? Since so many of y'all bloggers that I helped become established, you know who you are, and I'm not talking about TTB. Shout out to TTB. I'm not talking about TTB, okay? I'm talking about some of y'all other ones who started out and y'all didn't have nothing going on until Chasing Dallas popped. And I was doing press and I was doing interviews with you guys, and then all of a sudden, y'all started to build. But then y'all forgot about the girl when she was catching a lot of heat. But it's fine, it's okay. I'm not harboring anything. I'm just a Scorpio. I'm always put my foot on y'all necks whenever I can. But my opinion has always been this opinion, and it is that I believe that an executive producer can be in front of the camera as well as behind the camera, because we are the only people, a part of that production, that cares about the cast more than we care about ourselves. We are the only people that can bring the show up when it's getting a little dead, bring it down, bring it on down.
Before I get the blowing up on your ass.
Bring it on down. We're the only ones that could bring it on down whenever there's a need to. And at the end of it all, you may not have liked me because I did my job well as a cast member. That's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to have people that you like. You're supposed to have people that you don't like. You're supposed to have the ones that you love to hate. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, nobody can say that I was not a good cast member, and nobody can say that I was not a good EP.
Period.
The proof is in the pudding.
Period.
What's your thought on it?
Not me.
I'm just saying in general.
Well, I can actually speak to this personally.
Okay.
Because, you know, there's a project that I'm working on that I'm trying to figure out, and I'm basically in the same boat, right? And so I feel like, can it be done? Yes. Is it probably the hardest thing to do? Absolutely. For a couple of different reasons. One, you automatically walk in with a target on your bag. Whether you're everybody's best friend or everybody's enemy, somehow you're going to end up somewhere in the middle and metronoming back and forth, right? But I think that personally, when it comes to the cast member / EP, they also have to be able to separate themselves on camera and off camera. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like a cast member can't produce on camera and they can't be a cast member off camera.
Let me jump in, because that was my problem.
And that's what I'm having to work through now.
Because, see, I could easily differentiate between when the camera is on, the camera is on. Mm-hmm. Like that mic on, the camera on. So I'm going to give you an elevated form of myself. Mm-hmm. When the camera is off, if we don't have a relationship, and if we don't, I feel like Cynthia and Crystal. I mean, now that I'm off the show, there's so much that we can say. Now that I'm off the show.
Period.
Because it's like, when you are a person that knows this business, mm-hmm. let's be clear, 11 years in Atlanta, Georgia, I worked in the reality world. We know what she has done. And if you don't know, catch up.
Okay.
But I did that so well, that caused problems for me, because there were cast members who, because I came into this space and we interacted with each other, I can recall going over to a cookout at the beginning of before we started filming season 2 of Chasing Dallas, and I was hanging out with someone, mm-hmm. and I invited one of my producers to come with me and just kind of kick it, just so we can. It wasn't a thing. So I thought then. Mm. It wasn't for me. It wasn't a thing of the EP is coming to hang out with the cast. It was very much, no, I'm finna come over here. You said you got chicken.
Oh, we kicking it.
We
off camera.
We finna go eat. So I don't like. Whatever the relationship we build off camera is what we do off camera. Mm-hmm. Let's not even talk about the show.
Right.
At all. That's how me and Ariel became like this. Mm-hmm. Because whenever we got around each other, I can't even, you got a good friendship when you can't even remember when y'all's friendship became a actual thing. And that's what it was with me and her. I cannot, if my life depended on it, unfortunately, I'd be brains gone. Because I couldn't remember when.
Slayed you.
I couldn't remember when me and Ariel we built our relationship. It just like happened organically.
Right.
But other people, it was so like, y'all were trying to make a friendship with me. We don't have anything in common. I went to this cookout and we had nothing to talk about. Like we just didn't have anything to talk about. Like we didn't have, where your mama from? Oh, my mama from here. Like we didn't have that.
Right.
And it was kind of awkward because all they wanted to do was kind of gossip. And I love a good piece of dosage of tea.
Sure.
But I don't get up every day to just gossip about people. When I go to chill with you, I just go to hang out. That's right. It. And so, like, even with navigating through this world on, off camera, helping other people establish shows, helping the bloggers be more of who they are so they can coast now. It was always a thing of, no, I'm just doing my job well. I'm not doing anything looking for something in return. Mm-hmm. Like because I used to send out an email, and anybody on Chasing Dallas seasons 1 through 3 can attest to this. I used to send out an email or a text saying, hey, it's Thanksgiving, I'm cooking. If you want to come over, you're more than welcome to. Please do not be alone for the holidays. Same thing for Christmas. Mm. I will always do that because I know how it feels to be alone during the holidays. And with me actually being an excellent executive producer and getting to know my cast.
And can cook down.
And getting to know my cast. Mm-hmm. I knew that some people didn't have family in town. Maybe they couldn't travel out of town. Holidays, I know for gay people or people in the LGBTQ community, African Americans, mostly, it's hard for us to deal with holidays because we're in the South and all of that. So I would do those things, but that just goes with getting to know. But nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about, or they put out the lies that I've been vindicated for. Nobody talks about the times where I'm like, okay, girl, you good? Right. I saw this post. Are you okay? Here are my condolences. Things like that I don't look for things in return.
100%.
So with that being said, hell the fuck yeah, I can be very much the nickname they give me of Shawnee O'Neal, Ressie O'Neal. Hi, Imani, thank you. Or even like, I look at Mariah. I think I'm most like Mariah Hook.
Damn.
To me, I think that if I had to choose anybody that I was most adjacent to, it would be Mariah.
Yeah,
100%. That lady to me, she did something where, and the crazy thing about it is, I was this close to working with her because her cousin, who we met up and we had conversations, and her cousin was a stylist, and we were trying to work on some projects together. This was years ago. It had to be 2014, 2015.
Well, we may need to slide on down to Sleek Media. You know, she got her own thing going on.
I mean, she needs a popping podcast on Sleek Media, girl. If the check is right,
Hey, Mariah.
You know how you are with a check, girl. So,
and receipts and invoices.
But yeah, so I mean, I really just think that people use that and they rode on that to try and build relationships with other people. Mm-hmm. And I hated that, because if you're going to stand 10 toes down on what you believe in, don't teeter and totter.
And to your point to that, like going back to my situation, I think a lot of the times, you know how they say that success doesn't change you, it changes the people around you? Mm-hmm. I think that before I even had the chance to garner the success that the show is going to eventually stem, I think that the people around me started changing once they started seeing the production elevate.
Are you talking about the cast or the production team?
One and then the other.
Because quiet as it's kept, I had a thought the other day when we were talking about that show that you were going to be on when you were in Alabama, and a show that I was creating that was similar to it. You picking up what I'm putting down?
Absolutely.
I can't let y'all know because it'll start some tea and y'all know. But I had the thought, because I was really wondering, like, why didn't it happen? But the way that you talk, the way that you care, I'm pretty sure there were conversations with that EP, and because of who they are, they probably was like, yeah, let me not. Because when you are so intuitive and when you are a person that likes to be innovative and you care, like you have like no malice within what you're doing and what you're a part of,
right?
They don't want you around. I think that's why that show didn't happen with you.
I believe that. And then there were some other factors that went into that with somebody else that I told you about an experience that they had with another friend of mine that was a producer that was supposed to be doing a show with them that ended up doing something else, and they have a whole thing that's going on now with them, and they're doing their thing. And yes. Okay. And that situation happened right before, well, it was in the interim of him coming to me with the deal and then it falling apart. That situation happened in between those two things. So I feel like that played a big part of it, because when we compared our stories to each other, it was the exact same thing. The way that we wanted to approach it, it was very much, I feel like he didn't want anybody to come in, do what they were going to do, and then leave. He wanted somebody who was going to sit around, and he wanted OVO. He wanted Drake's OVO. He wanted people to come and sign to him and write him a bunch of hits, but not go off and put out their own albums. You know what I mean?
You should have went over there and been SZA.
I mean...
She took it.
I mean...
You talk about playing the long game? That's what I'm...
But I would have. And I told you about all of the plans that I had for that and the situations and all of the lengths that I went to make it work. But I think the fact of the matter is that he knew that once my situation popped, I'll work with you, but I'm not staying exclusive to you. But I told you that up front.
True.
You know?
And the crazy thing is, now that I look back on my second career, because I'm like, this will, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get into it a little bit later, but when I look at just even the question at hand, the debate at hand, I have yet to see anybody else in the reality world, in the web reality world, do what I had the bravery to do, which is be in front of the camera and be behind the camera and do it well. Right. Or let's just say I didn't do it well. Season 1 of Chasing Dallas, even though it is and has been the best premiere of a show on Chasing Reality. I progressively got better. Mm-hmm. And season 1, I beat out myself for season 2. Season 2, I beat out myself for season 3.
Right.
And I really think that when people would criticize me for that, at the beginning, it used to hurt my feelings. Mm-hmm. Season 1, it hurt my feelings like crazy, especially because it took one person, and then I don't think I've ever said this publicly, but I played into it season 2 on, and then keep in mind, you got season 2 of Chasing Dallas, you got Chasing Dallas Since the Retreat, you got all the other stuff that I was having my hands in.
Right.
Doing all this press, doing all these interviews, all that stuff. And I played into it. But it clicked for me when Armand Wiggins said on a live, because, I mean, I don't know how I was on his radar or whatever, but he said on one of his lives, he was like, Shawnee O'Neal would never act like that. And I was like, oh. And I respected him because I did his Boys Chat when he was first doing the Boys Chat, his panel show, years ago. And I respected that opinion, and it really changed. I was like, oh, okay, so, bitch, get out your feelings and work this shit. Like, fuck it up.
Like, you have the eyes, use them.
Right. You see what's going on, so, bitch, make it. Like, it's truly what you make it.
Yeah. I think it's wild because as much as I've seen the examples happen, as much as I've seen, you know, the people come in and fuck it up and do it wrong, do it right, do it subpar, do it whatever, it's still, for me, as much as I don't have all of the examples, I feel like even if it's just one, right? Because, like I told you before, you were the reason why your progression on Chasing Dallas season 1, 2, and 3 was the reason why I came to you to work on the project that I was working on now. Because I was like, you're sitting directly in the position that I'm sitting in, right? And you're the only person that I've seen actually come in and do both well. Because Shawnee... Mariah was a great cast member. She didn't handle her business behind the scenes well. Nikki Gilbert, great cast member, didn't necessarily handle her business well behind the scenes.
That's another reason why I feel like I right there with Mariah. But go ahead.
See what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I've never seen somebody come in and necessarily do both well. Other than the way that you've handled the situation and utilized the negativity that you received on the show and produced it into something. You know what I mean? Most people, they just sit and feed into it. And they just sit and they just live in it. And even when you were feeding into it, it was still channeling and creating something out of it. Like, bitch, we got a book out of it. We got a great second season. And we ended up getting a great third season.
Merch.
Bills
paid. I put people on. And let's be clear, some of
spin-off
sponsorships.
Spin-off sponsors.
It got to a point where Ondario was like, girl, we can't put no more commercials in this episode. It got to carry over and got to carry over. We had 3 episodes of advertisements, all paid money to me and him and I, us, we, for 3 episodes straight, to the point we had to take posts down of, we don't need no more advertisers. And you got to understand, this is more than $100 of advertisement. So, you know, we got bills that's being paid. You know, it was just me. So even I was doing a lot of it for him too, because, I mean, he had a whole relationship. He had a dog, you know, on top of bills. Mm-hmm. So it's like, when people try to criticize EPs being in front of the camera, they forget that we're trying to get somewhere too.
And a lot of things that, in my personal opinion about it, it goes back to what I was saying before. I don't think that it's the cast member / EP that has the issue. Mm-hmm. It's everyone around them that is cognizant of that extra power and that extra levity that they have, and it becomes a threat to them. So anything that happens within their connection to each other, whether they're friends, whether they're not friends, that tie is there. So whether they're friends with you and they feel like, oh, well, because I'm friends with the EP, then I'm going to get more camera time. Or, you know, we're going to get to do this. They're going to show my shit more. You know what I mean? Or if you're not friends with them, then they're going to be like, oh, well, you're doing this because you're the EP and you're throwing around your EP card. You don't fuck with me because da-da-da-da-da. I'm not getting my screen time because of this. The edit. And it's like, those two things never have anything to do with each other.
I never got any of that. Like, it was a time where, because I had to train the cast, if you will, on how to deal with me. And I used to always, it was an ongoing joke, but it was real. It was like, when people would call me and ask my opinion, I would be like, okay, so do you want Ressie G cast member or Ressie G EP? Mm-hmm. And I would always have to differentiate between them. People started being shady and saying, who am I talking to? Am I talking to Ressie G cast or Ressie G EP? Either way it go, bitch, you understand what time it is. You understand exactly what's what in this moment. So I don't care if you feel whatever way you may feel, but you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And I always had in my mind of, it's never them, it's just, are you strong enough to withstand what everybody else is saying? Because it's not a us thing, it's a them feeding into you and you throwing it, you're what's the word I'm looking for? You're projecting on me. Mm-hmm. So, you know.
Yeah. And I can only, like I said, I can only speak for me. But the situation that I had with one of my cast members that I had a very close friendship with, that I still to this day have no clue what happened. And you were there for the entire situation. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I respect you.
Exactly. So but see, my whole thing is, were you using me to get a look? Or, like, what was it? Because I'm like, to this day, I ain't did nothing to you, bruh. I ain't did nothing to you, but
it's just a narcissist.
But try to give you an opportunity.
It was just a narcissist at work. And narcissists, unfortunately, they do make the world go round because they help good people become better people. Mm-hmm. But, you know, like I was telling you, which is what I do with many EPs, have conversations with them behind the scenes about how to build and do what they need to do when it comes to their show. Like I was telling you, when you get on a show, when you're doing a show, you have no friends. If that camera goes off and then you have these friendships, then cool. Mm-hmm. But with that person in particular, they were just a narcissist, and they just could not stand someone who they didn't see as superior telling them what to do. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. That's just it. One thing that I can say is, even if you did not like me as a cast member, I earned my stripes and people know what I'm capable of and they respect me as a producer. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you want to sit on my couch. I don't care if you want to go and eat with me or not. As long as you respect me for what I'm doing, because it comes from a place of, it's never led with malicious intent. As long as you know that, that's all that matters.
That situation really helped me get to that place. Because, like, you know how we went through it when it came to casting. But, like, that situation really taught me a level of separation that I thought that I had just on a professional sense. But it really trickled that down into me personally, where I was like, oh, like, I fuck with y'all because I hired y'all. But when that camera goes off, I don't know y'all. And if I do know y'all, then it's cool. But if not, I have no expectations of you outside of when these cameras are on. Outside of that. And it's a done wrap for that. Mm-hmm. So, that's the post. Stay tuned.
In the comments, let us know if you think that there should be EPs, executive producers, on casts, whether it's mainstream or in the web reality world or not. I would love to hear what you got to say. Just know I may get down in them comments and go back and forth with y'all because y'all know how I stand on it. Okay. Which is, I stand on business. I own the business. Hey! And I mind my business, okay? yeah, that's the post. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll be right back.
But keep it cute, because I don't keep it on mute. Everybody, this is OJ the OG, but I still got the juice. And I wanted to tell you guys about Adorn Comfy Closet, where comfort, style, and satisfaction unite. For all of your comfy closet needs, make sure you go and place your order with Adorn Comfy Closet.
Right. So today's conversation, we're just gonna dive straight into web reality and the state of web reality and where it's at and why it is where it is. Because I really feel like there is room for more.
Mm-hmm.
Because this particular genre of streaming or TV that me and other people have created as producers, there's definitely room for more and better if they took it more seriously, I would venture to say.
Absolutely.
And not try to bite off of each other. And I'm not gonna point no fingers at people, but I mean, you know, there's certain channels that do trash TV. I think that the web reality world has an equivalent of, there's a Dish Nation equivalent, there's a Real Housewives equivalent, there's a Love and Hip Hop, there's a Baddies equivalent. And I think that there is room for all of us to strive and be better, but I don't know. I guess sometimes people don't really want better.
You know, I hear that, and it's something that I've said a lot recently over the past year. I think that a lot of people are content with getting the platform, and once they get the platform, that's the stopping point. You know, getting there is the goal, but then once you get there, they don't want to elevate it. They don't want to grow it. They don't want to see anything past the starting point. And I feel like that is a detriment, because even in the mention of the examples that you gave earlier with the equivalent, there's a Dish Nation equivalent, there's a Baddies equivalent. A lot of these shows started after a lot of these web reality shows came around. You know what I'm saying? And it's wild for me. That's a big part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this, was because I've seen the web reality world basically from its inception. I've been watching all of the chasing shows since day one. I've been watching all of the other networks and platforms, Gemini Films and this one and that one, and even down to my old podcast, Real Reality Realness. I've interviewed almost everybody in web reality at this point. So to see it become a viable infrastructure and see people grow from it and gain success and go into mainstream and do things and create other platforms and do all of these things, but see it in a place of stagnant right now. Like, it's very stagnant. Like, it's stagnant and it's at a stalemate.
Why do you think that is?
I just don't. There's a lack of innovation. There's a lack of growth. I think it's exactly what I said before. People got the platform and that was it. That was the goal. You know what I'm saying? It's like people whose goal is just to be famous. But famous doing what? And then once you get fame, well, what are you doing with it? How are you maintaining it? How are you elevating it? How are you growing it? Because more money, more problems, new levels, new devils. So once you get this platform, now you've got a whole new set of problems now that you done cured all of these issues. Mm-hmm. But I think people just get here and they think that that's the ceiling.
And, you know, to build on that or to amplify that, I think that people don't see the ceiling. Mm-hmm. You know, they see, oh, I can do something. I mean, and when we look at, like, say, okay, Zeus was the first one. Mm-hmm. Then here comes, now that's TV, and then comes Tronics, and then I think you mentioned Stunner Girl has one.
Stunner Girl got a network.
But all of that derived, like, at first, when we started looking at that type of put people in a house, that came from, what was it, Oxygen with Bad Girls Club,
going back
Survivor,
to even
the real world,
which was the first,
the very first. And I even look at how, I mean, the formula, I mean, you can put it out there and then make it your own, but I think that there's so many people that are literally not producing. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I don't even care about the innovation at some point. Everybody can't be innovative. Sure. But I think that when we look at, okay, if you're going to put some people in a house, make it unique.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's a difference between the real world to Charm School to Flavor of Love to Bad Girls Club.
Right.
You know? And then even nowadays when we see Summer House and how they go to a space to do some things, and then we see these relationships, because I don't even think that, I was just thinking to myself, like when reality stars or reality TV stars came out and then they started to pop, actors and actresses were like, how are they getting these opportunities? Like I trained for this. I went to school for this. And now you got these people who are these reality stars that just so happen to be good at acting or good at doing, hosting different things and all that stuff. And then they taking the opportunities away. Now it's kind of slumped. And then when you look at web reality, it's like, girl, when the last time we seen a Lauren England? When's the last time we saw someone come into a platform, had a following already, help build the platform, be completely transparent, show themselves from beginning to end, consecutively for seasons on a show, then do a spinoff, and then try to better themselves. Like, we rode with her,
Literally,
the entire time.
Yeah. Like, we literally saw Lauren become a completely different person.
Become Lauren.
Like, literally become a completely different person. And you just don't see... That's the thing. Like, we're in a space now where people are so aware of reality TV, but not cognizant of what to do with the platform once they get it. People come on television knowing they're on TV, and they try to execute a certain personification of themselves that may be authentic to who they are situationally, but they try to stretch that as their entire personality. And they create these caricatures without even allowing the audience to find something to love about them. You know, there's the days of people just coming on reality TV and not knowing anything and just not knowing what they were doing and just showing up. Like, it's not really happening like that, but they're happening so far and few between. Like, one of the only examples I can think of in mainstream reality right now is Stacey from the Real Housewives of Potomac.
Potomac, yeah.
Yes. She came on this show, and you can tell she don't know a goddamn thing. She don't know nothing. She don't know what she doing. She don't know what to say, what not to say, how to act. She don't know who to talk to. She don't know who to trust, who to date. But it's so, she's just so authentically herself in every moment, and it just works for her. Versus nowadays, you see people specifically in web reality come in and they try to be who they've seen pop. Everybody wants to be Nene. Everybody want to be Kenya. Everybody want to be Ashley Darby. Everybody want to be Erica Jane. Everybody want to be a person instead of developing who they are. So the lack of authenticity comes because there's nothing authentically presented. But then they want to get on these shows and the people don't like them, and then they want to blame the edit and blame everything else. But you curated this false version of yourself in the first place. They don't like your representative.
But at the same time, it does take the producers to tell the representative to go home and tell the real person to come up.
1,000,000%.
Because that's something that at the beginning of me being a producer, I would have these transparent conversations with people because, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't go to school for it. I didn't have a knack of it. I mean, I just had heart in it, and I wanted to show LGBTQ people of color in Dallas in a different way. And then it burst into something else. And I think that it does take that Carlos King old school way of producing and getting to know your cast members and getting to understand them and being truthful about it. Because you got people nowadays who get on these blogs and do these interviews and say, I know, I've been there, I've been on the show, and then now I'm producing, and I know what it is. No, you don't. You don't know. Because if you did know, then you would know how to help these people elevate. Every single cast member that has ever been under my leadership has elevated in some way. In some way. And if they didn't, it was on them. But I can only pinpoint one person that didn't elevate because they just were lackluster in just period. But
But that also has to be a goal of the producer, though.
True.
Because a producer can't elevate somebody if that's not their mindset, if that's not their goal. If somebody is coming on to get drama and to get clickbait and to get views and to exploit an algorithm, then that's going to be the last thing in their mind.
Or
because people think that there's no room for that in the midst of people cussing and fighting and swinging and hollering and reading and doing all of that.
But there is room for that, though. I mean, there is a platform that does only that.
Sure.
And I think that sometimes some of those producers or some of those creators need to all stay in one platform.
And I would love
because
that.
You can't have a Zeus type show will not be on Bravo.
That.
A Bravo type show probably won't be on Zeus. You know, because there's different levels, and then people want to look at why people are not retaining and why it's not producing, no pun intended, why it's not growing. Because it's like when you look at shows where you have an established idea of what, if I know for a fact, when I turn on ESPN, I'm going to watch sports. I'm not looking for Judge Judy.
Right.
When I go to VH1, I know I'm going to get something related to music. I'm not looking for some heartfelt shit like, say, a WeTV with Rex and Family Values. I'm not looking for that when I go there. I go to a specific place to look for a specific thing. Mm-hmm. And you lose viewership and you lose viewers and fans when you are delivering something that does not fit.
Because I think that people see what is viral and they lose the message of what they're trying to deliver. And it's very what came first, chicken or the egg. You know, a lot of people try to blame the cast members for acting a damn fool on, you know, what's supposed to be a classy party. You know what I mean? But if the producers and the production team is saying they want a housewives, but then they get in the field and on set, they're telling you to give Love and Hip Hop to make the show, what do you expect your cast to give?
And it doesn't, and then you expect for the numbers to come. Like, people don't want to see that.
And you expect for people to make, for the show to make sense to viewers. Because if they're coming there and they're expecting to see Real Housewives, and they show up and Baddies is playing.
And you know, even to amplify that, when you look at development, these producers don't develop. They don't develop these characters. They don't develop them behind the scenes or on the camera and actually care about them. But then, these characters nowadays, they're not doing press, effectively doing press. They're not utilizing what has been made for them. The bloggers, the panels, all this stuff in the web reality world. And even mainstream, you don't really see... Well, you do in mainstream. You see people going and doing press and doing the Sherry show and stuff like that. Doing the press runs and stuff like that. But you have to do press runs. You have to do rollouts. Those types of things are important because you don't know if this is going to be successful or not.
Especially if it's your first season.
Even if it isn't your first season, you still don't know if this is going to work. So you have to do every single thing. You got to party like it's your last.
Every time.
Every single time. And that is, I'm going to go and do every interview. I'm going to say yes to everything. So when I'm outside of these cameras, outside of the team, I know that when people stop me at the airport, when they stop me at the club, when they stop me in other states and say they love me, I know it's genuine because they're not looking for a camera moment because nothing's on. It's because I transcended through the TV to their hearts. Because at the end of the day, and I think Steve Harvey said it best when him and Denzel Washington were hanging out, and Denzel Washington says, you know, you're a TV star. I'm a movie star. People come to see me once or twice a year in a movie, but people invite you into their homes every day. And when people have the choice to say, you know, I want to watch this show because Ressie G is on this show. I want to go and see this because OG is on this show. They make a conscious choice to say, I want this in my atmosphere. I want to rock with them. But then when people tune out, it's because you got these people, you got these girls who come on TV, especially in the web reality world, and they try to be these icons because they want these one-liners. And what they don't understand is when you couple up with a girl that actually got something going on, when that camera stop, you can still say, hey sis, so let's talk about going half on this. and going and doing this.
That's where I wanted to take it, because that goes back to the development, that goes back to goal orientation, that goes back to everything that we've been talking about, and it frustrates the shit out of me when I see people get on TV and just want to be on TV. It's the same thing that we said before about people who get on Love and Hip Hop and claim they do music, and they get through one season and we never see them in now studio dropping now another beat.
But there's a difference, though. I want to, before you continue.
Yeah.
When we look at people that, because when you have a mainstream platform like, say, a Love and Hip Hop, you can get on there and act a fool because you're getting paid. Mm-hmm. So if you act a fool and you getting paid, then there's kind of like a level out with that. Even if you do say you do music or you jump out, like when we was talking about Hitmaker and Kate Michelle and Cardi and all those people, like they jumped out because they got what they wanted from it and then they jumped out. But
to grow that.
Right. And then even with Rev Reality, these girls don't, they say that they do all this stuff. A fashion show with no fashions. How dreadful.
How dreadful.
But continue, I'm sorry.
Once again, this was the stopping point. That's what I see a lot of these girls doing. They just want to be on the show. Mm-hmm. They just want to be in the room and do nothing with it. I see so many people come on this show and just want to be on the show, and they have angles to navigate things outside of the show. They come on, say they do fashion, say they do music, say they do podcasts, say they host, say they do drag, say they strip, say they do whatever they do, say they do OnlyFans, say they sell drugs, whatever it is they do. And then they get caught up in trying to... See, I get the initial start of it because they're trying to make a name for themselves so that they can make this pop. But then they get so lost in the trying to make a name for themselves because they get lost in the minutia of, oh, bitch, she ain't gonna talk to me crazy. You're not gonna make me look crazy on TV. You're not gonna do me like this. Oh, I have a reputation to protect. You're not gonna talk to me like that. You ain't gonna do me like that. And they lose focus of the goal. Because all of that create space for this to thrive. But a lot of people come in and don't even have this.
But then, so with that...
They say they do this to get here and have nothing over here.
With that regard, that in the web reality world is crazy. I mean, we have several platforms that are over... I'll say 20,000 subscribers. Mm-hmm. Let's even break it down to 10. We have platforms that are over 10,000 subscribers, and we have all these cast members and these people that come on these platforms. And like I would tell each and every, at that contract signing, as I'm reading line for line, it's a requirement for you to have a product. If you have a $1 product and you are on a platform that has 10,000 subscribers, you have the opportunity to make $10,000.
And that's the thing. Like, that goes back to what you were saying earlier about people just... I lost my train of thought. But I say all of that to say that... There it is. I say all of that to say that goes back to what you were saying earlier about people can act a fool on Love and Hip Hop because they have the caveat of being paid. What I don't understand is how a lot of people get on these web reality shows, ain't getting paid, and still act an ass for the sake of acting an ass. I could see it if you were going to act an ass, and then in the next scene with the resolution, product placement.
Seasons 1 through 3 of Chasing Dallas.
I could see it if you were going to utilize, I got into a fight for a moment of humility and relatability for the audience to get to know you, to know something deeper about you, to connect with you. So when you push this product 2 episodes later, they have something to connect with you to buy outside of, that person got in a fight. It's, that person got in a fight because of this, and this, and I relate to that. Let me buy their product.
Or if you don't have a product, you make yourself a product.
Make yourself...
There's a person who I cannot stand. I would never welcome them into my home. I'll never say never, but
you would never invite them in your home. You would never offer them a beverage.
They will crawl across the Sahara Desert before I offer them a sip.
They will die, come back again, die, come back again, die, come back again.
But one thing that I can say is they respected me as a producer, and I said to them, if you don't have a product, then your product is going to be you. And now they have a following on TikTok, on social media. They've been on other little shows and things like that. And they need a little bit more development.
Sure.
But at least they use their personality to be something.
And that's,
and
that's my angle. Because for me, I rap, but I'm not rapping right now. For me, I'm focused on the personality aspect. I want to host. I want to do radio. I want to do panel shows. I want to host game shows. I want to be face of things. You know what I'm saying? Podcasting, all of that other stuff, like multimedia. So it's like, I may not be the person out here slinging t-shirts, merch, doing all of that, but you're going to want to go on. But all of the people who are watching me on this show, they're going to want me to come and host a party. They're going to want me to come host a drag show. They're going to want me on their morning show. They're going to want me to come and to present down to their award shows. When that 106 and Park reboot happens,
it's not happening.
Don't do me like that.
It's not. Let it go.
Don't do me like that.
Don't nobody want to watch 106.
When Rap City The Basement come back,
it's not coming back.
Stop doing me like that.
Make something new.
I'm just saying. Back. Listen, they still doing Hollywood Squares after they changed it to Hip Hop Squares and changed it back to Hollywood Squares.
It's a game show.
Hollywood ain't got no ideas.
It's a game show.
Everything is gonna come back eventually. I guarantee it.
Be that as it may. I understand, and as you were speaking, I was thinking to myself, what I hate to see is people who their skill was never the personality, but then they try and do things like host red carpets and like, girl, that's not your lane. Let it go, sis. Like music artists, you can probably do something like that. I love my girl Model La Negra. She can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because she has enough charisma. If you don't have charisma and you're very mousy, don't go over there and try and host nobody's red carpet or host nobody's reunion. That's something else I can't stand either. Don't go and host somebody's reunion and you don't have it. You do not have it. Don't nobody want to look at you. Stop trying to host people's reunions and you don't know what you're doing.
Call me.
Stop it.
Stop. Because I'm actually qualified.
It gets on my nerves. And I'm just like, why y'all keep letting these people do it? It's because they're available. Sometimes you ain't got to always scoop from the bottom.
But see, that's the problem. It's because they're available and they have somewhat of a following. Like, you can scoop from the bottom and pick me. I ain't got no goddamn following, but I'm qualified.
Most of these girls ain't got no following.
They have a bigger following than me. Or they've been on these shows and they've been seen. They done been seen in the background or whatever the case may be. They have something that trumps their qualifications is what I'm saying. Whether it's valid or not. It's a justification for bullshit, but it is a reason that is given. Because there's been plenty of reunions. I ain't gonna make this about me.
I mean, even when it comes down to like those people that do host, I mean, I appreciate when you have people that are bloggers,
sure,
or vloggers or commentators that get opportunities to do things like that because it makes sense to the right ones. Some of these vloggers out here, y'all just sitting in y'all kitchens and on y'all couches and in y'all bedrooms and y'all ain't got no furniture and y'all look just uncomfortable in your own home. And you want to be bigger and better, and you're just that's just you need some shaping. It needs some shaping first. And I can't stand when these bloggers have these opinions. That was one of the biggest things that I hated or didn't like when I was in front of the camera is I would have all these bloggers would have all these opinions, but without talking about me, you would not have a blog. I'm going to stop reviewing the show because I just don't like how Ressie G just went on that live and da-da-da-da. It's my job. What are you going to review now? It is my job. Literally, it's my job to get on live and go do press and go do interviews and go and do all that stuff because at the end of the day, I need to make sure when I flip that light switch, the lights come on. Because then I need to make sure that petrol in that vehicle is still able to be purchased.
Because then when you don't, it's, they just get on the show. They don't even promote the show. They don't post about the show. They don't do nothing. They don't be out here down to that. They just get on the show. Don't do nothing on the show already. They already born on the show. They already showing their ass on the show, but then they don't even promote it. Now they wonder why the viewers are down and they da. And it's like, girl, which one do you want? Do you want me to give you a show or not?
They don't. And I think that it would behoove of them, a lot of them, to be better bloggers by actually talking about the content of the show and stop trying to produce the show. I don't want to be friends with you. If it happens, it happens. But that was the thing with a lot of the bloggers too, is because a lot of them haven't progressed and strayed away from talking about particular web reality shows because, one, you're not getting the content to talk about it, first of all. Secondly, you want to be on the show so bad, but you don't have the balls to do it. And then you sit uncomfortably and talk about, I can't stand this person, I can't stand that person. I remember when I did that pop-up with Chasing, and it was a big and nasty, uncomfortable person that had so much to say about me because I literally, as I did in the entire season 3, I walked into the room, I didn't say, I spoke and I sat down. I spoke and sat down. My presence, if it makes so many people uncomfortable, that ain't got nothing to do with me. God did that. God did that, in the words of Giselle.
Hello?
Barbie Royale. God did that. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. I was called to do a job. And like Nene Lee said, I'm going to do my job. All I need is some water and my check. And if I ain't getting no check, all I need is some water and you to leave me the fuck alone. Because I'm going to always give it to you again and again and again. And if my presence gives you already too much, don't come for me. Because when that mouth get to running, y'all know how that mouth get.
Like my presence is too much, but you want to activate me too? Okay, sure.
So, I mean, I really hope that one day we can... Hold on. Gotta look at the time. Let me wrap this up. I really hope that, and you mentioned it earlier, I really feel like when it comes down to mainstream and these streaming platforms, there have been people to transcend web reality and go on to other things and have opportunities and be in rooms with other people, if that's their goal. And I think that I don't necessarily believe that it's been overlooked because there are people that started watching Chasing Dallas when we were on our season 2 that were celebrities that enjoyed the content, and that were voluntarily tweeting about it. I never paid anybody to tweet about the show. I never paid anybody to promote the show. These people got on their platforms at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning after they and tweeted, hi Karamo, love you so much still. Tweeted about these particular things being their guilty pleasures. Just like when Keke Palmer got up there and she said her guilty pleasure was Zeus. There are people out there who say the same thing because there was a level of excellence that we were exuding when it came down to producing these shows.
Shout out to Coco from SWV. She be living for these web reality shows.
She used to. Not all of them.
I don't know, who she living for now, but I remember a time where, like, Coco was in the comments. Like...
I remember I was on a flight.
Like, what is happening?
I was on a flight, and I got off the flight, and I saw an Insta story post from her where she was talking about me giving me my things and talking about Ariel.
We do it.
That
love.
And so it's like, I didn't call her and ask her for that. I was on a flight. I was on a two and a half, maybe 3 hour flight to Boston at the time, I think. I think I was going to either Boston or Chicago or Atlanta, wherever I was going. And I got off the flight and I get these notifications. And all I did was say thanks. I appreciate you because, like, that's what showing love is without having to ask for it. But then you got people who are just, it
just... There's so many layers to it because there's a lack of community within the thing, but everybody knows that one can't survive without the other. Like, y'all be trying to ice people out of these shows, fight people off these shows, trying to take over people's shows, be trying to steal shows from people, not allow people to thrive in their own creativity. But then at the end of the day, like, all of these people end up becoming stagnant when they have the opportunity to take a situation and grow to the next level, but they want to be the one in the room. Everybody want to be Nene. Everybody want to be Kiki Wide. Everybody want to be Kenya.
Kiki Wide.
Listen, she was the star of R&B Divas. I don't give a damn if y'all like her or not.
I heard nobody want to be Kiki Wide.
Well, all I'm gonna say is she quit the show and the
show. You're reaching.
She quit the show. She quit and the show got canceled. Why didn't the show come back? Kiki Wide quit and the show got canceled.
They could have replaced Kiki Wide.
And they didn't.
You know who they could have? You know who I would have loved? I would have loved to see them replace Kiki Wide with?
Dondria. I'm playing. I'm playing. But go ahead.
I would have loved to see... Somebody should have got Shamari before she went to Housewives.
I said that a long time ago.
That would have ate.
Like, I said that a lot. She would have given. Why was she never on R&B Divas?
I think R&B Divas was... I particularly believe that R&B Divas was before its time.
I agree with that.
And I think that it was just gone too soon. Because I think there should be no reason why it's still... Well, actually, it's all in the team, too. Because R&B Divas in Atlanta was good. Mm-hmm. When they did the LA one, they had some great people on there. But, sorry to say, when they added Leela James, it just didn't stick for me. When they added that other girl...
Chrisette Michelle.
When they added Leela, Chrisette was cool because she gave a particular... love her. But it was the other one. What was the other girl name?
Brave from Rich Girl.
No, we okay with Brave. Brave, all right. The other one, the old one that was going back and forth with Shantae Moore.
Lil Mama?
No.
Not Lil Mama.
It was another one. It don't matter. It don't matter.
That's the point. That's the point.
But I mean, nonetheless, I think that we still have an opportunity to continue to build up the web reality circuit and make it actually something, a destination for people. Just like how, nobody thought that hip hop would stay, and it's still here. Nobody thought that there was room for black sitcoms, and they're still here. So, I mean, I think that there is opportunity, but I do think that some of these people have to come off their high horses, and you can't gatekeep what you ain't got. That's what kills me the most. A lot of these producers that think that they are hitting it heavy, y'all not doing it. So you can't gatekeep and say that you don't want help when the bloggers in the comment section are your biggest focus group. I took everything that those bloggers said and everything that those comments gave, and I bettered myself from it. But they take it and they want to send a DM later and say, why you said it about me and all of that. The bloggers are doing it. The real ones are doing their jobs. And it's only really 3 of them in the weird reality world that's really doing it.
And then on top of that, trickling that down to the inner workings of the group, like, the production team has to have a focus. And they have to know what show they're producing. If you're going to have a reference point, then reference that show. But don't see all the other shows outside of that. Like, if you want to produce Housewives. Stop coming in here and getting in the field and saying that y'all want baddies.
Or just create something new.
Like, but that's not happening yet. But until that does, stay tuned. If you're going to reinvent the wheel, at least do it productively. Don't be sitting here trying to put Bentley parts on a Toyota Camry. Or rather, stop trying to put a Kia alternator in a Mercedes Benz. It ain't working like that,
so
bruh.
What you're saying is some of these shows got producers that's really a Kia. And they really should just stop thinking that they Mercedes Benz. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I agree. So, in the comments, let's go ahead. In the comments, leave your thoughts about what could help build the current state of web reality television. This web reality circuit that we are in, what can we do to make it better? Because y'all know I'm always going to take a critique, and I'm always going to try to apply it. I just been, keeping to myself.
And I just been cooking in the background, I'm very...
Let her cook.
Let her cook. Because I'm going to come through frying shit. Let me cook. That's the post.
That's the post. So, until next time, I really think that was a good one.
That was a great one. I think we really hit some points. I think we really covered some topics, hit some nerves, made some points. Yeah. And I think we inspired some people, whether they wanted it or not.
Child, please, ain't nobody inspired. They finna look at this and they finna think I'm hating and talk about people like they usually do.
And it's gonna inspire them to try to go out and do better.
To each his own. We'll see you guys next time here on Casually Deep.